First of all, intuitive eating's goal is not to cause weight loss. Its primary goal is to change your relationship with food. So any criticisms of intuitive eating for weight loss don't make sense because intuitive eating isn't meant to solve weight loss problems. That said, most people searching for and applying intuitive eating have in the past been trying to lose weight, and many still want to lose weight. So it's foolish not to talk about intuitive eating in the context of weight loss, even if that isn't its primary intention. In this video, we're going to lay out how to think about intuitive eating in the broader context of weight loss solutions, as well as gotchas when it comes to using intuitive eating for weight loss. Hi, Lucy here, nutritionist at CoachViva.com, the place for analytical thinkers who refuse to hide from the facts or cave to excuses. If that's you, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to be notified every week of new science-backed and practical videos to help you lose weight on your terms. Also, heads up, a few spots have opened up for the free one-on-one consult for our Badass Body Boss program, so stick around until the end for the announcement on that. Now my co-coach Richa will get us started.
So there's what the intuitive eating principles say, and then there is what a lot of the proponents of intuitive eating say. These can be two separate things. Let's first start with the 10 principles of intuitive eating and talk about the gotchas of each in the context of weight loss. Then we'll go into the differences with what many proponents say. The first principle is to reject the diet mentality. It says on their site, get angry at diet culture that promotes weight loss and the lies that have led you to feel as if you were a failure every time a new diet stopped working and you gained all the weight back. Diet culture is a pretty broad label. Looking up its definition, the most popular one is the glorification of losing weight at all costs and worshipping thinness over health and well-being. This is 100% a mindset you must adopt for weight loss because even putting aside the mental health reasons for intuitive eating saying this, from a purely practical standpoint, you won't last until your goal or stay at your goal for life if this is your attitude while losing weight, because your physiology, hunger, cravings, bodily systems will be fighting every physical change. And the way to last is not to fight your physiology, but work in collaboration with it. Also, while this principle is solid, the first gotcha from a weight loss standpoint is we haven't seen getting angry at diet culture be enough for most people. When you release a belief, a void gets created, which you should intentionally fill with a new belief that serves you better. The exercise we have found most helpful in our coaching to help people discover that new replacement belief is to see weight loss as a means by which you get to the goal of living the life you want. What is that life for you? A litmus test of whether you have a good answer is if thinking of it energizes you to make more nutritious trade-offs in the moment. Such an answer is almost exactly extremely specific to you and your life. For example, your friend's answer would be starkly different to yours, even if both of you are trying to lose weight. And your answer cannot be vague, like be healthy. That's literally everyone's answer. Is yours to take trips with your family that involve a lot of walking and climbing? Is it to feel less self-conscious when faced with opportunities at work, or something else? The second principle is to honor your hunger, which translates to if you feel hungry, eat. Similarly, if you know you'll feel hungry in a few hours but won't have a chance to eat, then go ahead and eat now so you aren't starving later. This mindset shift is what will help you last through your weight loss journey, because the intuitive eating folks are right on this. If you ignore your hunger, your body will pump up your hunger hormones to the point where you can't think clearly. So don't skip meals for the sake of losing weight, unless it's a part of a larger strategy like intermittent fasting. The gotcha for weight loss is that intuitive eating does not tell you what to eat that best deals with your hunger. Our body's primary immediate mechanism to tell us it needs more nutrients is hunger. It's not precise enough to tell you which nutrient it wants you to eat. In fact, sometimes when you're hungry, you're actually needing water. And by the time you're thirsty, you're actually quite dehydrated. So it's important not only to honor your hunger, but also be informed about how to honor your hunger. For example, if you got hungry and grabbed some popcorn, you're going to be hungry a lot quicker than if you grabbed something more substantial like string cheese. A rule of thumb is if you're getting hungry earlier than 3.5 to 4 hours since your last meal choice could have been better balanced to address your hunger. So this still requires you to understand nutrition principles, and yes, possibly meal plan for when you're hungry. The third principle is to give yourself permission to eat all foods. What this means is to not forbid or cut out any foods because deprivation builds into uncontrollable cravings. We have seen the same behavior and therefore also recommend not to cut out all foods, but rather to moderate them over time. This principle could also apply to processed and non-processed foods, given how many recent diets talk about cutting out entire food groups, like keto stands on at most having 5% carbs, which tends to result in very few vegetables and fruits. From a purely nutritional balance point of view, this doesn't sound like a good idea. The fourth principle is to break out of thinking of yourself as good for eating minimal calories and bad for eating cake. In our coaching, we have seen the same thing. In fact, I would extend this principle to say that breaking out of good and bad judgments is important not only in this case, but also when the judgment is on the food. For example, cake being bad and broccoli being good. About your emotions, like anger being bad and happiness being good. Or about your numbers, like weight going up being bad in a vacuum. They are all just data. If you don't shift your mindset to thinking of all these as data, aiding you in adjusting your strategy, your journey will be very ineffective, inefficient, and draining. The fifth principle is to eat mindfully and enjoy it fully, which will help you reach enough sooner. Too often, we have our chocolates or snacks in front of a TV, paying them no mind. But if you literally did nothing but focus on the taste and texture of the food, you will find yourself more satisfied. From a weight loss perspective, this is an especially useful speed bump if you are eating a food you are craving. Since it's a mental want, you should give it the full respect and pay complete attention to the food. Make it last. Chew and feel it in your mouth. Even close your eyes. You'll find your craving abates quickly. The sixth principle is to practice listening to your body's fullness signals to know when to stop eating. This is what will finally allow you to stop tracking and live in maintenance by feel of what, when, and how much to eat. However, from a weight loss perspective, this is the last stage in your journey. Before that, your gastric capacity is big, which means you have a tendency to eat more than you need to lose weight. So you must train your body intentionally to reduce your gastric capacity and reestablish satiety signals for the size you want. So unless you're pretty close to your goal weight, you have a ways to go before your satiety signals are where you need them to be. The seventh principle is to deal with emotional triggers with kindness and not food. As they say on their site, anxiety, loneliness, boredom, and anger are emotions we all experience throughout life. Each has its own trigger and each has its own appeasement. Food won't fix any of these feelings. Changing your relationship with food to one that's not of self-medication or pain relief is key to weight loss for sure. Because if you view food as joy or pain relief, why would you ever want to do the opposite of that? While the principle here is simple, it's not easy. The Intuitive Eating Workbook has exercises to help you make this transition. The eighth principle is to respect your body shape and size. There are two parts to this on the site. First is just as a person with a shoe size of 8 would not expect to realistically squeeze into a size 6, it is equally futile and uncomfortable to have a similar expectation about body size. Okay, so there is body shape, then there is body size. Your body shape is your bone structure, and it is what it is. For example, both Jennifer Lopez and Karlie Kloss are lean women, but their shape is wildly different, and they are not going to look like each other no matter how hard they tried. Body shape is more akin to the shoe analogy. Your foot size is dependent on the length of your bones. It is what it is. Body size, on the other hand, is significantly more in your control. If you want to increase or decrease in size, you can. Now, the second part of this principle is important. All bodies deserve dignity. This is 100% true no matter your body shape or size. And from a weight loss perspective, you need to hold both the concepts of improvement and love for your body simultaneously in order to succeed. Just like you can be awesome at your job and still take classes to improve, the same goes for your health. You can love your body and what it does for you right now, but also want to improve your health at the same time. If you're losing weight out of hate, we haven't seen people last the journey or be able to maintain their size even if they did. Happiness won't come after you get to your goal weight. Happiness starts during your journey. And when you get to your goal, believe it or not, happiness does not happen because of your size. You feel happy because of self-efficacy, the psychological term for how self-esteem is improved by setting a hard goal like fitness and achieving it. It's got very little to do with your final size. The ninth principle is to move to feel good and not just for weight loss. This goes back to enjoying your journey. Also, from a weight loss perspective, exercise is not your bottleneck until you get closer to 25% body fat. Before then, forget HIIT and whatever exercise you feel burns the most calories, and instead focus on your nutrition, relationship with food, and do whatever movement you like. If it's a walk, awesome. If it's stretching every hour, awesome. Only when you get closer to 25% body fat and intend to keep dropping body fat, which by the way, many people decide not to, only then does the effectiveness of your exercise routine start mattering. And the last principle is to honor your health and focus on progress over perfection. This last point of progress over perfection is key. For weight loss, this means focusing on progress of your habits over your outcomes like your weight. As long as your habits, the thing under your direct control, are getting more consistent, Even if your outcomes aren't trending in exactly the right direction, keep going. This is a key concept in the book Atomic Habits, which we mapped into a 5-stage weight loss framework. Check it out. And now that we understand what the principles say, Lucy will talk about statements proponents of intuitive eating have said which aren't said in these 10 principles.
Blanket disclaimer, not every intuitive eating proponent says these things. These are just some of the most popular things we have seen said repeatedly. First type of popular statement, intentionally losing weight is not going to be helpful or sustainable, or it has been shown that dieting doesn't cause long-term weight loss. What is being ignored in these statements? Nuance. Dieting is very broad. Did this person do a 500-calorie diet, or did they eat in a small 10% deficit? Did this person replace all their eating habits with one fell swoop, a whole new eating pattern, or did they make small changes over years, like cutting out soda and so on? Unfortunately, a lot of people are doing the extreme behaviors when trying to lose weight, which is why the statistics show that a lot of people also regain much of the weight that they lost. Proponents then hold up studies on intuitive eating's weight loss longevity as a contrast. Now, what's happening here? False attribution. The reason intuitive eating has longer weight loss maintenance is because it only allows for incremental small changes. If the dieting weight loss studies only studied those who ate in a small deficit and lost weight over years, not weeks or months, I bet the results would look a whole lot better. Now, if you're thinking, if intuitive eating already lays out for me how to lose weight in a way that I maintain it for longer, why not just jump in? Hold up. Richa is going to cover later when is weight loss with intuitive eating possible, because it's not suitable at every stage of the weight loss journey, so stick around for that. Okay, second type of popular statement is that only you know what your body really needs, or there is a weight at which we physically and mentally feel best at. Now, first of all, if you are feeling amazing already at your current size, I 100% recommend ignoring what society may be telling you. Enjoy yourself, forget about losing weight. But if you are uncomfortable in your body and don't feel healthy, I am going to tell my own story. I always predicted that the thing that'll stop me from regaining my lost weight back would be the fear of having to do all the work to lose it again. But once I got to my weight, which was a long journey full of changing one habit at a time, I realized I couldn't eat out at restaurants like I used to at the start of my journey. I used to be able to eat out 2 meals a day every day after I got to my goal weight. Eating out 2 meals in a row, let alone 2 meals daily, had significant impact on my mental clarity and physical energy. Now, this completely threw a wrench in the possibility of lasting long enough for my old habits to regain all of my lost weight. And the kicker is, when I started on my weight loss journey, I thought I already had good energy and mental clarity, but I had no clue. It's only because the improvements were so gradual, because my journey was so gradual, that I only noticed the benefits after I tried reverting to my old habits. The point of this story is that, one, at least for me and pretty much all the students that I have coached, what feeling good in our body feels like is a discovery. It's not predetermined that you know when you start losing weight. And two, we don't automatically know how to take care of our bodies, aka what our bodies need. Maybe we did when we were super young, but after decades of getting to the point of where we are at, we have forgotten how to. And just like any mastery or productivity book will tell you, any goal requires structure and discipline to achieve. The same goes for weight loss. You need to relearn what your body needs and how to take care of it. So these statements of only you know what your body really needs doesn't ring true if you are in fact feeling unhealthy. Another popular thing we hear is that diet culture has told us to lose weight, and it's explicitly or implicitly said that losing weight is a sign of self-loathing. For a significant chunk of people, they are not losing weight because they have been told to. They are wanting to lose weight because they are seeing their physical performance declining or their medical numbers trending in the wrong direction. And secondly, wanting to lose weight does not mean you don't love yourself. In fact, you could want to lose weight because you love your body and you want to be healthier. Now, if this notion is something you struggle with, I recommend checking out this video. And last popular statement, which is focusing on numbers like calories and weight leads to obsessive behaviors and disordered eating. It can, but not because of the numbers, but rather because of your reaction to the numbers. After all, there are tons of people who track numbers without obsession or developing disordered eating. What is the difference? The difference is in the story we tell ourselves. Let's walk through an example of taking a test. When you took a test as a kid, let's say you scored 5 out of 10. The second time you took it, you scored 7 out of 10. Your focus, whether it be from you or from people around you, went to the fact that you didn't score 10 out of 10. This made you feel bad about yourself and your abilities, and became evidence in favor of not being good enough, which led to low self-confidence. Over time, enough incidents like this happen that you start instinctively having low self-confidence. To fight this, you attach yourself to being a perfectionist and trying to nail everything. But when you don't nail it, it further validates your low self-confidence. But it's hard to accept because your amygdala or ego is attacked, so you're obsessed with proving this wrong. In contrast, let's play the scenario of the same event again. So when you took a test as a kid, you scored a 5 out of 10 on a test. And the second time you took it, you scored a 7 out of 10. Your focus, whether it be from you or from the people around you, went to the fact that you improved by 2 points. You're happy. Now this builds your self-confidence. You're someone who can learn. Over time, whenever you make incremental improvements, you collect more evidence that you can improve and become instinctually self-confident. As a result, you attach yourself to excellence as opposed to perfectionism. So now, when you don't meet your calorie targets, you're fine with it because you're confident you'll get there due to all of the evidence you've collected in the past. No obsession happens. 2 completely different results stemming from the exact same incident. So the statement that numbers lead to obsession isn't always true. And it is definitely not inevitable. If you choose to, you can learn to change the story you tell yourself when you see numbers, because if you pick the right numbers to focus on, they can teach you a lot. For example, seeing how your inputs like calories and exercise change your physiology, your sleep, energy, cravings, etc., and your outputs, your weight and your size, will make you realize how to change your inputs to affect the chain in your outputs, which then gives you immense confidence in changing the size as you want. Numbers give us the opportunity to learn how to effectively lose weight, and you'd cut out this hugely important avenue if you decide numbers are inherently evil. Now, Richard will talk about when is intuitive eating most likely to help you lose weight.
To know when intuitive eating will help you, we need to zoom out and look at the weight loss journey as a whole. Like any journey to mastery, there are stages to accomplishing it. For example, when you learned to ride a bike, you didn't just immediately hop onto a bike and start riding it. You needed training wheels to start, and then over time you lifted the training wheels higher so you could practice balancing on the 2 main wheels, but if you wobbled, the training wheels would catch you, until finally you could take off the training wheels entirely. From a weight loss standpoint, intuitive eating is like riding a bike without training wheels. But before you get there, you need training wheels. That is the structure to train yourself to know what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and even why to eat, so you start changing your relationship with food. An interesting aside, one thing that stood out to me as I watched some of the popular intuitive eating coaches on YouTube is that a non-trivial number of them said they had orthorexia in the past, which means they were overly obsessed with clean eating. In order to be in that state, they must already know what clean is, what standard portions are, how to honor their hunger in a way that keeps them full longer, and their tendency is already to reach for whole foods. Intuitive eating is a natural next step for them because they already have the training wheels figured out. But if you don't already have the knowledge, a good relationship with whole foods, or even the satiety signals to know when to stop for the weight loss that you want, you're going to struggle to lose weight while eating intuitively. What we have found to be most helpful in our coaching practice is to combine the principles of intuitive eating with a step-by-step incremental structure that is needed to lose weight. If this is something you're interested in learning more about, go ahead and book a free one-to-one consultation call with us in our Badass Body Boss program. The program is built for you if you, 1, value learning in depth the science and psychology behind the entire process, 2, believe that weight loss need not be so complicated, that each method out there works for someone at some stage, and that you just need a clear plan to finding your methods for your stage, and 3, are excited by the idea of working in a collaborative fashion with us to build your customized, sustainable roadmap to lifelong success. If that's you, good news. A few spots have opened up for our free one-to-one consultation call with us. Note, this is not a coaching call, and that booking a call does not guarantee you'll be admitted into our program. So if you're serious, click on the link in the description below to book a one-to-one consultation call for our Badass Body Boss program.
And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, be sure to subscribe or follow us on Instagram. And share this video with whoever else you feel could use this information. And be sure to check out these 2 videos to learn about how to lose fat and gain muscle like a body boss. You can do it.